Hey guys, this is Erica Carlson with BRIX Real Estate. Thank you so much for joining me at I Heart Minneapolis Homes. I wanted to talk to my future sellers today. If you're thinking about selling your house, please stay tuned. I'll try to keep this quick and to the point. If you know anybody thinking about selling, feel free to tag them below so that they see this information. So there's some important rules around pricing your house that aren't secrets, but they're very hard for us to trust and go with the instinct of what a realtor will share with you, because it's just not going to feel natural to you. And the first one we want to talk about is pricing it too high from the start. I realize there's a really good analogy to help understand how you can best price a house. So once you've looked at the comps, which is houses that are similar to yours in nearby location, this isn't always easy to do because houses aren't always cookie cutters, because even if they were the exact same plan and year built and all this stuff, it's still on a separate chunk of land and could have, slight differences on it. So you do the best you can to find homes that have sold recently that are most similar to your house. And once you've done that, you analyze that data to figure out where yours should sell, not where you want it to sell or what you need it to sell for. It's important to analyze it from the point of view of a buyer. Now, before I go any further with this analogy, remember this: buyers want the best deal, and sellers want the most amount of money. So if you have the ability to put yourself in the position of a buyer, it'll help you to figure out the right strategy for your pricing. So this is how I was thinking about it the other day. Think about an auction. Does the auctioneer say, let's say $100? They say 100 and then say, oh, nobody's going to offer 100, so I'll give you 90, 80, 70. Oh, it sold for $10. Absolutely not, right? We start at $10, and then the excitement of the auction, okay, you want it for 10, I want it for 20, and that's what's going on. So that's what houses are like. We are competing silently and raising the price up in many cases, especially when it's a seller's market, especially when inventory is low. But that does not happen when you price it incorrectly. If you come out too high, then people don't even see it because it's out of their price point, and we'll get into that. So when prices are, when houses are priced correctly, then what we see is we can push it up versus going down. And I think why we oftentimes want to start high is we're really afraid we're not going to get to that dollar amount. And when I tell people, let's go low to go high, they go, what does that mean? I mean it like the auctioneer thing. Let's start at a reasonable price for this type of property based on the sales data we have. And let's hope we can get you into multiple offers, because now it's a good deal, because now people are like, now I'm interested. They're getting inside. You're not going to get an offer if you're not getting showings. We need people to get into the house and get excited about it. So let me put it this way. We want them to think, wow, I love this house and I want to get it before it's gone. Not, wow, this house is really overpriced. These people must be crazy. Both of those thoughts are going through people's heads as they're shopping for properties. Already touched on it a little bit. The next thing is just making sure you're actually pulling data that is based on that sold data. Don't just make it up. Don't just think about a house on the other side of town. You're really analyzing not only what your neighbor's houses that look like yours sold for, but how long did they sit on the market? All of this information helps. What was the original list price and what did they end up with? How close were they? All of this will help you determine your price. Here's a big one: odd prices. I make people giggle sometimes when I remind them houses are not candy bars. So when we list it for $99, like, $299.9, it's not that $100 isn't going to be an incentive to anybody. We're talking about a mortgage payment that can be thousands of dollars a month. So you're not You can't entice somebody with like a $299,900 kind of deal. So the way people search for houses, this is the key information, is if I'm approved for a loan up to $300,000, I'm going to put in the search bar 0 to 300. I'm not going to put in $299,900. A lot of those websites aren't going to allow me to do that. You want to stick in round numbers, fives, zeros. Think like the way a lender would think. They're not going to say you're approved to 271. They would say 270 or 275. So when you say $299,900, yep, I caught you. If you put in your search bar 0 to 300, I caught you. You're at the highest of my range. But imagine somebody who's approved at the other way, the higher range. We're going to miss them. If they look for 300 to 400,000 and you had it listed for 299,900, they're never going to see your house. So you'd be at the low range. But a lot of times agents and individuals don't think to drop the price value down a little bit. So now you've missed people that would have been really excited about your house. They'll never even see it because you've picked an odd number. So always bracket in the way people search in websites, 200 to 300,000, be in there. Or if you're almost 300,000, don't go into 301, because now I've missed everybody that's looking from 2 to 300. Now anybody searching 301, I've missed. Okay, probably beating a dead horse now. All right, refusing to negotiate, I think, is my last point today. There needs to be some flexibility in this. Just like you're not the buyers going into it oftentimes thinking, if it's a great house, I'll offer more. If it's a house that needs a lot of work, I'm going to offer less, because they're thinking about the work that they have to do to get out of it. So they're negotiating in their mind before they go house shopping. As sellers, we need to do the same. If we get locked in on a certain number, it becomes hard to sell a property. If this is the only number I'm going to take, it just might not represent what's currently going on in the market. So in fact, it might not even sell for the price you want. Remember, the longer a house sits on the market, the longer people, whether it's right or wrong, the longer they start questioning what's wrong with it, the less desirable it becomes to buyers. You have to do like creative things like take the house off the market, relist it, come up with new pictures. There's things like listing agents have to do to try to become clever. But if the individual isn't willing to be flexible in the price, it doesn't matter what other strategies we come up with to get eyeballs on it. It's not going to matter. If you have to sell for a certain amount because you need it, financial crisis, you have a particular house you need to buy with that certain equity, none of that should be the determining factor in figuring out your list price. So anyway, if you're thinking about listing your house, I'd love to give you the most realistic price point to consider as your market value. Remember, when we're saying market value, we're talking about what would a buyer pay, not what you need, right? So I'm trying to make that very clear. When it comes to that initial list price, remember not to go too high. I'd rather you go low to bring up the price, not to go high and then try to keep dropping it until you're guessing where someone's willing to go with it until you feel like you're in a corner. Pay attention to what's selling. Look at the last 6 months of data. Any good real estate agent's going to do that with you. Avoid those odd prices. If you're willing to sell the house for 300, don't be clever with 301 or 299.9. Those are too goofy of numbers to catch enough people. And you're always trying to get the most people to see that your listing, And then be willing to negotiate. Never be so locked into a number that if you don't get it, you're never going to sell this house, because now you have to ask yourself, what if? Am I renting it? If I hold on to it longer, what's the financial risk there of having 2 mortgages? How long can I float that? The flexibility piece is really important to attract buyers out there. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to be a resource to you or anybody you know. Have a great day.